Uh, I'm back with a new guest with whom I've been anticipating to interview her maybe for the last 3 months, and she has been tremendously busy. And finally, I've been able to get 30 minutes in our schedule. So I feel I'm lucky, Joumana, to finally get you to my podcast. Thank you for joining me. Uh, hope you're doing good.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes. Quick introduction, right? Who is Joumana? Joumana is the Chief Service Delivery and Experience Officer at Marine Credit Union across Wisconsin, right? She has around, 2 decades plus 20 plus years of experience in the credit union ecosystem. And she's been, pioneer or recognized for a few notable engagements that she has driven across, specifically towards improving efficiency across the board in her credit union to specific lending programs across retail, digital strategy, and product marketing. So she covers a huge gamut in her current role, and because of her experience across multiple verticals, lending to digital to product marketing, she's taken up this role now, and she loves working there. That's what I get to know from her. Uh, Joanna is a Canadian by heart, by the way. She's a Canadian by heart. She resides in Michigan right now, and interestingly, or rather, I'm jealous. One thing I'm jealous about her is she works remotely, right? But yeah, she also travels to Wisconsin to the credit union once or twice a month. Apart from her daily jobs, she sits in the board of Marine Credit Union Foundation, right? And she's very passionate about it, right? The foundation is dedicated towards providing communities with access to home ownership and promoting financial health and wellness, right? This is very, very close to the credit union movement as a whole. And what she does over there, I'm really proud of what she's doing. She might want to cover some more details about that. But yeah, this was a quick, short introduction, Joanna. Uh, I hope I haven't missed out anything. If I did, please go ahead and complete your thoughts.
No, I think you've covered it all. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to this conversation today. I know it took a while for us to get there, but we're here today, so I'm happy to be here.
Finally, absolutely. I mean, I'm glad to finally have you, Joanna. Uh, So I'll start with asking you one burning question that I almost keep on asking everyone. That throughout your journey of 24 years, right? It's not less. It's pretty long journey as a credit union executive, and not everyone within 24 years makes it to C level in a credit union, right? So firstly, we are extremely proud of what you're doing. So what keeps you going every day?
It's a great question. For me as a leadership, there's a lot of things that keeps me going, but I'm going to start on a personal level to say that my son, who is 17, keeps me going. That's what really keeps me going in life in general, right? So I have an amazing team that looks up to me, and I look up to them. I work at a phenomenal credit union, Marine Credit Union in Wisconsin. Every morning I wake up, and for me, if I can make a difference in our members' lives, whether it's an innovative product or, changing of a process, figuring out how to be there for our membership and our community, that's what keeps me going every day.
I mean, that's such a noble way of looking at it, right? I mean, cornerstone at the end of the day is still member experience, right? And you wake up in the morning to feel what can I do better for my members, and that's absolutely on point. And obviously, being a female leader, right? It's not easy always because a boardroom is still filled up with men, right? That's very bad, but things are changing and things will change. That's another mission, vision, ambition of this podcast is to make voices of women leaders being heard across the entire movement, right? And I think things are changing. So, being a female leader, obviously, I'm very sure it wasn't easy for you, right? Across the journey itself, right? So, what are the typical, I would say, challenges that you faced through the years, lessons learned, and if you can pass on your lessons learned for aspiring female leaders, that will be really helpful.
Yeah, so there's a lot. right? I would say some of the challenges that I have faced just personally is really trying to balance being a mom, a friend, a partner, and also going after my career aspirations. That's a real challenge, right? You hear it from a lot of women these days that how do you balance all those things and also being a woman leader? One of the things that I would say is I have a very unique situation right now at work. I'm actually a female that is on a chief level with all men. So I'm the only woman that sits on that table. And what I will say is, I think women inspiring to be in a leadership role, they do encounter stereotypes and biases. That's a given. So overcoming these, for me, not only proves our competencies, but also making sure that we understand that as women, sometimes we might need to work harder or have more assertiveness to really gain recognition and respect as a male counterpart. But here's what I'll tell you, and I would be remiss not to say this. Even though at the chief level, I work with all men, the men that I work with have been absolutely supportive, easy to work with. They've really fostered an inclusive environment. Their openness to different points of views has really created this collaborative atmosphere at the table.
Hmm.
And together, we've actually worked on initiatives to promote diversity at Marine Credit Union. And all of this, really, if all companies or credit unions can get to that space where it's collaborative and doesn't matter if you're a male or female, that will pave the way for future women leaders moving forward.
I mean, that's phenomenal to hear. The culture of Marine Credit Union. I mean, and it's both astonishing as well as great that being a female leader. I mean, being the only female in the leadership team, that's very uncommon, but you're there, so you're out there promoting. I mean, I don't call it diversity. I mean, that's a very wrong word to use, but it's norm, right? I mean, we should put an end to celebrating days of diversity first. That's the first thing, right? There should be no Women's Day. Because every day we should feel, equally empowered and celebrate women, and same for men. So I think that stereotype might take another 50 years to go across. But yeah, this will happen, and I think you are one of the torchbearers of representing uh, all women leaders in a board out there. So phenomenal, Jomana. I mean, we are really proud of what you're doing out there, right?
Thank you. Thank you. I would
Absolutely.
just add one more thing. What's
Yep.
really important for women leaders is making sure that they're building their network and they're seeking mentorship. And it doesn't matter what age you are, because till this day for me, I still have other women leaders that mentor me and that I can pick up the phone and say, I have this situation. How would you go about it? And really just staying resilient in those types of moments is very critical for us.
I hear you, and I mean, that's another intent of this podcast, right? To create a inclusive community of all female leaders. Might be by end of this year we'll have 50 women leaders who got interviewed in the podcast. Create a create a close knit community where everyone feels free to reach out to everyone and seek mentorship, to seek help, everything, right?
That's
So
great.
that's also the intent, and I'm very happy to hear about your 2 cents on that. So I want to deep dive a bit on your leadership style, right? Leadership style and philosophies. So throughout your career, obviously you've been I mean, it has taken some time to being a leader from starting in a credit union to growing to a CXO right now. So what are the typical philosophies and principles that haven't changed forever, and you want to, I would say, wear them as a badge of honor, or you're proud about them? So would you want to shed some light on that?
Yeah, when I reflect back at just moving up the ladder in my career, obviously, right, you have to continue learning, you have to innovate, making sure that you say yes to opportunities, continue learning. But I would say two key things for me is one is being humble. That is so critical. Being humble is the key, and taking the road of serving others is the key. So, as a leader, my guiding principle is serving others. And what I mean by that is prioritizing the needs of my team over my own needs and helping them make sure that I'm helping them achieve their full potential, really trying to understand and relate to them. And when you do that, your team recognizes it. And in turn, you're going to have the utmost support at any given situation at hand from your team. Because as you're progressing in your career, this is not just about you, it's a team. If you don't have a solid team, you can't progress in your career. The other thing that I would say is being collaborative and inclusive. Be open to hearing others' opinions and allow others to be part of the conversation. This is going to build the trust and really create a safe environment where teams feel valued and heard.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm not a female leader, but I would like to add one more thing over there.
Yeah.
Uh, Empathy is so important for being a leader. I mean, I used to lead large teams earlier. I mean, 50 plus. Now, with my current role, my role has changed. But whenever I had large teams, and I mean, even my boss, right? My boss, my report to Vikas. Vikas has a team of two and a half thousand consultants, 2,500 people he leads. The only thing that I see common between you and him is empathy. Is empathy and being humble. Like, it doesn't matter if I have a huge team, but yeah, I mean, being approachable, being open door, people can just knock your door and tell that this is something which I want to change or I need your help from. So if that's there, I think you have already successfully proven yourself as a leader, right? You don't need to prove it to the world, but for your team, you're already a leader, and people want to follow what you advise. So yeah, that's very well taken, right? And would you have any tips and advice, right, for women who are aspiring to be leaders right now? I mean, any takeaways?
Yeah, I would really say yes to opportunities. That's what's critical. Say yes to opportunities. Opportunities are going to come knocking on your door, or you need to seek opportunities. So say yes to those opportunities and just know that you probably have a ton of resources when it comes to other women leaders. Don't be afraid to reach out. Reach out, even if it's to people that you might look up to but you don't know them. Pick up the phone, go on LinkedIn, search for women leaders that you think could be your mentor and really, advocate for you and help you down that path. I think that's critical.
Mentorship. So at the end of the day, mentorship is very important. I mean, without a mentor, you cannot grow in your current organization, start anything of your own, whatever, right? You need someone to show the path
That's
because
right.
I mean, you cannot know the entire path yourself. So yeah, that's really helpful, right? Now, as all of you know, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm a geek, right? So I'm a data scientist. I always want to talk about AI and data and experiences. How can data help, right? I know that you are doing quite cool stuff at Marine. Like the last time we spoke, I think we were implementing AI in your contact center, right? If I remember correctly. So, would you want to also talk about, Joumana, how can AI be the next level of growth for Marine Credit Union? That's one. And second, how bullish or positive are you that AI can actually bring in significant leap in member experience? Because at the end of the day, that's what all of us strive for. It's not about the money that we make, it's not about the profit that we make. But at the end of the day, serving members, providing them the right product at the right time and serving their needs, right? Do you think AI has a potential to go and, I would say, improve the ecosystem as a whole for Marine Credit Union and across the credit union industry?
Yeah, so we obviously we implemented a knowledge base AI in our contact center here recently. We did a pilot phase, and I will tell you the outcome and efficiencies have been impeccable for us. It's kind of opened up the path for some of our leaders within the contact center. They're not getting as many calls from their employees in terms of trying to find information. They don't have to go to multiple sources to find information that they're looking for. So even when they have a member on the phone, they're able to ask their AI the question that the member is asking, and it spits out the answer for them. And it really has been a wonderful thing for us. As you think longer term for AI, data is power. Being connected to data is what really is going to build member intimacy and efficiency.
Yep.
I would say it really creates, personalized, intimate member services, similar to concierge services, right? You think about those companies like Marriott and Delta of the world.
Yep.
You know what to expect every single time you call. They have that data at their fingertip. They know who you are. They know your status without even you explaining anything.
Yes.
And I truly believe that AI is going to be the transformation for us, and we need to make sure that we are on that wagon sooner rather than later. And don't be afraid of it. You just can't be afraid of it. You need to dabble in that space, and you need to get it right to create those efficiencies and member intimacy experience that members are demanding.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think I'm so happy and glad to hear this from you. I mean, there is a resistance that's there across financial institutions to use AI because of obvious reasons, because of compliance, right? I mean, not all AI is compliant, right? And you cannot dabble with consumer experience with an AI or a bot talking to a consumer or a member, right? But yeah, there are specific use cases definitely that will bring a hockey stick improvement in efficiency in experience. And I think you're exactly right, working on the right use case of implementing AI in contact center. Another couple of use cases that I can think right away, because you are in charter of growing the credit union and experience. One is acquiring more members, raising deposits, right? Hyper personalized way of raising deposits is very important. I mean, the spray and pray approach of campaign, that's of yesterday. That's one approach. And second, I think uh, this is not AI, I would say, typically next best offer, next best product for a member. That's, I would say, more of a data science or advanced analytics, but also there is huge potential to grow the credit union as well as serve the member whom you want to serve. Right? So yeah, I would say multiple use cases. That's a separate discussion to have with you on what are the AI use cases that you can think you can implement at Marine. But yeah, I'm very happy and glad to know that at least you're started to walk on the journey of implementing AI and you're bullish about its capabilities. We are really happy about that, right? Uh, in the interest of time, I mean, I still want to know more about what you're doing out with the then Marine. Would you mind sharing a couple of successful initiatives or projects that you're really proud of throughout your career, be it Marine, before Marine, and if you want to maybe share that with my audience might be able to learn something new from you.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you had initially kicked off, obviously, this podcast explaining that I serve on the board of the Marine Credit Union Foundation.
Yep, yep.
I am so proud of our foundation. There's a couple different components. There's a financial education component. There's community giving. There's also the Finding Home program. Our community giving component, we have actually donated over 1.6 million to 1,700 worthy causes within our markets that we serve. Our Finding Home program launched back in 2018
Mhm,
to really further our mission of Marine Credit Union.
mhm,
And what the Finding Home program is, it's a free financial education program designed to help those that don't have access or are credit challenged to
mhm.
achieve home ownership through one-on-one counseling and through home ownership programs. Currently, we've counseled over 400 families, and it really has been a staple for our foundation and for Marine Credit Union and the communities that we serve. The
That's
other piece, oh, go ahead.
no, go ahead. I'm good.
The other piece that I would say that kind
Mhm.
of relates back to the foundation is we've rolled out a community structure as part of Marine Credit Union. And what that is that's not business development. This is really being out in our community to give people access to our products and services. So
Mhm.
when I say give people access, I say we give them access to uh, innovative solutions, we give them access to financial education. We partner with our community partners that are out in our communities to try to really understand the pain points of the communities and then come back to the table and think about what's our next product, what's our next move based on the community needs.
Got it. Got it. And this is something you should be proud of, right? I mean, what you're doing, it's great. And you should be proud of this. And yeah, that's great to hear that this is something which you are passionate about. And in the interest of time, I know we're already short in time. You have to move out. You want to log out early today for obvious reason. I'm not sharing the reason with everyone, but still, I want to ask one parting question, Jomana. Uh, is where do you think is the credit union ecosystem moving, or where is the credit union movement moving right now? Right, for this year, I know that we face a lot of challenges from multiple competitors, might be the newer banks, the challenger banks, the big banks. But at the end of the still, we have a specific, for lack of better words, a specific USP that credit unions bring onto the table that no one can bring, right? So harping on all that we have, and we are passionate about serving members. Where do you think is the ecosystem moving right now? And what are your typical predictions for rest of the year and possibly even next year? Because possibly the rates will get slashed down by November-ish. That's what my prediction is. Market will get softened up. Lending might pick up. That's what my 2 cents are. But as a whole, I mean, who's spending more than 2 decades? What is your point of view on this?
Yeah, probably a bigger conversation, but just a couple things that I'm thinking about. Obviously, we talked about AI. One of the bigger things that I continue to think about are fintechs. How do we partner with fintechs moving forward to get into that space? I think we both know fintechs get it right. They understand the member intimacy. They understand streamlined processes. They understand convenience. Those for me, some of those components are really table stakes for us for credit unions.
Yeah,
We have to get it right because if we don't, think about the chimes of the world, right? The new account opening platform that they have, they get it right. They have millions
hmm,
and millions of people
exactly.
utilizing their services. So we might not be able to compete against fintechs, but how do we get into that space and how do we partner to
Yeah.
deliver the member intimacy that we need? The second thing that I would say that's really near and dear to my heart is financial health and wellness. That is a big deal. Members are hurting financially, and in turn, what hurts? When they're hurting financially, their mental health takes a hit. I know that more credit unions have really started on that path to create initiatives, but we really have to think about innovative initiatives to move that needle from financial health and wellness perspective moving forward.
Rohan, I mean, I feel that you have watched a few of my episodes earlier because Chime is an example that I love taking, right?
Love Chime.
I have used the example of Chime. It takes 3.5 minutes to open a checking account in Chime. I have told this at least 10 times in 10 episodes, right? And this is
Yeah.
to the point, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, fintech partnership is something which is much needed, and I'm glad that forward-thinking leaders like you think that fintech partnering with fintech, you're not wasting your dollars, or you're not competing against them, but you're at the end of the day uh, partnering to give your members a better experience at the end of the day, and to help you grow responsibly, right, as a whole.
Yeah.
But this was great, Joumana. Again, thank you. Amazing interview. I mean, for my audience, this was a long day interview that I wanted to do. It took some time, but finally she did find some time to do it. Again, thank you, Joumana. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you so very much for your time. This was great and looking forward to seeing you at conferences.
Absolutely, Joumana.
Sounds good. Take